was easy.
That was super easy.
We can't hear you, Sarah. Are you there? Sarah, are you there? Where are you?
What's great is the second part of this is going to come up with that starting and all. That was easy. And then us screaming out Sarah. That was great.
With the camera that you're shooting with right now, can you hold that up to the view that you think you want people to see to shoot? You get what I'm saying?
I totally get what you're saying. I mean, my webcam has slightly more viewing. Let's see if I can get me there.
That's true. Yeah, it's probably a wider angle than.
Yeah. Okay, we can do this really stupid. Mr. K, can you hold this? Let me get clay off of my phone. Oh, got some of it off. Can you see? That's the view I'm looking for. Can you guys see that on my phone?
Yeah, looks good.
Right. So we want as much of the table as possible without my hand. Okay.
Something in the neighborhood of 18 inches up off the table.
Yeah, and I'm about 2 feet back. And I'm about 3 feet back from the corner of the table. There we go. So that's where I am compared to the table. You can't tell that.
Okay, so someone's asking if all team members can be in the video while the robot launches.
So they can, they just have to be stepped back far enough away from the table to not be considered active technicians. So just the size of my dining room doesn't let me quite do this far enough. I imagine with kids it would be totally fine. Active technicians will be at the table. That is maximum 2 kids at a time, right? They can be kind of wherever they need to be. If other kids want to be in the video, they just need to be far enough back that they're not interacting or interfering with the table. And so I just caution you guys to watch out and make sure that they're not just like slowly like sneaking up on the table to get close and everything. The more people that are around the table, the harder it is for the referees to track what is going on. Okay? So like a good option might be to have them stand down here if you're filming from the north. If someone is filming from the northeast corner, have them stand at the southeast corner or something like that.
I would recommend that not only do they do a pre-test in regards to positioning and so forth and movement, but they also review the video that they take, because
to make sure it's good
you're going to have reflection, and you're also going to have backdrop that's going to be messy.
And that's fine. I mean, I expect this to be in people's homes or in classrooms or like in the middle of their house, whatever, in a dirty basement. I don't care. We just need to, referees need to be able to see what's happening on the table to be able to score what the team deserves.
Someone's asking, can you be moving around recording the robot? I assume during the robot run.
No.
So
what we don't want, I lost my phone. We don't want, I'm going to simulate this. We don't want video tracking the robot as it goes out and does missions. We don't want that. We want to see the whole table like we would normally see at a tournament.
And after the run, the technicians should step away from the table, and the only person at the table should be the camera person.
Yep.
Also, everyone, because maybe not everyone was on when Dee announced this, there will be very clear, extensive details about the robot run guidelines for recording the robot run coming out shortly. We're planning for teams to have it before the Wednesday coach call that happens this coming week. So Dee's promised to get it into coach hands before the coach call. So teams will be able to look at that and ask questions at the coach call on Wednesday about that. And those will be going out to all teams. We'll put the link in the email, and it'll be uploaded to the important videos and document Google Doc that keeps being shared. The place where the judging videos are. Hopefully everybody knows what that means.
Yes. The place where the mission model verification videos are. The place where the links to the coach calls are.
Yes.
Where this link will be.
Yes. Someone's recommending ask your non-technicians to social distance, and the kids will understand what that means.
That is a truly great point.
I just want to say, while we have everybody here, while people are thinking of their next questions, we will have some guidance coming out for how teams will upload their videos, since the robot game rounds will start first. For coaches to consider setting up a YouTube account. You cannot set your video submission links to private. Those will not be viewable by the judges. But you can set them to unlisted. So that's our recommendation, that you set your privacy on your YouTube links to unlisted. And then you also ensure that you use your team placards that will be coming to you from your event coordinator. And that's just a piece of paper. It'll have your team number, team name, and the date of your video recording for submission, which robot game round it is for you. And those details, you'll do a clip of that at the start of your video.
Dee, can I have just some random music playing while the match is going on, or maybe a TV in the background that's playing while the match is on?
I totally wish we could have random music playing, but due to copyright reasons, we cannot. So if you upload something, YouTube scrubs videos that have copyrighted music, and they're very fast with it. And what you don't want to happen is to upload a video and then have it removed due to that being copyrighted. So silence is horrible, but
Cheers.
you know, cheers or the technicians talking to each other, anything like that's acceptable. Coaches and parents can be cheering or being like, great job. They should not be the ones giving directions to the technicians running. That should be the team members that are appropriately socially distanced. But due to copyright reasons, no to the music.
There was a question earlier about how, in the remote format, how will mission models be checked in regards for being properly built or accuracy?
Right. Okay. So that's a really tough question. That's something as referees we've all really had to come to terms with. We have no way to physically ensure that your mission models are built correctly. We know how they should operate, and we know what they should look like. That's one of the reasons that we put specific things into our game guidelines. That's one of the reasons we want a close-in of each of the things, each of the missions on the table after the match is over, after the 2.5 minutes is up. We want to be able to see all of that and just make sure that something's not clearly wrong. That would have made it easier to do.
Okay, a couple other questions. Will core values be judged during robot game video?
It's always judged during robot game. So if you didn't know, referees provide feedback to judges in normal years about how the team behaves, interacts at the table, how coaches and parents behave and interact with the team at the table, how they talk to each other, how they talk to the referees. All of that is watched. We see things that are phenomenal and we see things that are not phenomenal. And all of that feedback goes back to the judges. That does not change this year. And actually, a little bit more horrifying is that we can say, hey, this team had great core values at the table. They worked together really well. They behaved well. They were encouraging even when things went wrong. Everything was fine. Everything was awesome. We recommend you guys watch their video, right? Or even if we have an issue like horribly, don't do this, right? If like you can re-record your videos as much as you want. The team ended up swearing at each other and one of the kids threw down the robot and stormed off in a huff. the judges could go watch that video, right? Hopefully that won't happen, right? But you know, when we see great examples of gracious professionalism, cooperation, and those 6 core values, we can tell judges, you know, this team excelled in discovery just based on how they ran the robot.
Music recommendation was to have the kids basically do a musical.
Oh, they totally could. That's fine.
Play their own instruments, sing
Play
their
their
own
own
thing.
instruments. Non-copyrighted music is fine. Not deafeningly loud if you find non-copyrighted music.
If a technician needs to interrupt the mission and lose a precision token, do they need to be in the camera frame as they walk around the table? Can the cameraman track them, or does the camera still need to remain stationary?
So that's a great question. Really, based on the view, everybody gets to see my 2 fish things. Based on the view, I mean, this is an acceptable view for the 2.5 minute of the run, right? We don't have to see the technician, so if you want it to be closer or lower down, that's fine. But we really care what's happening with the robot at that time. So can you make it so like you couldn't see me if I walked towards the north wall? So if this had to happen and the technician ducks out of the frame, but we could still completely see the robot and the field and stuff, that's perfectly fine, right? This is okay. Just make sure that the robot is always within view.
Okay,
If
so
we
we have a
missed this-
question. Oh, I'll take it. If
Okay.
we missed this December 2nd date for the robot game video, are we out of the tournament?
No, you're not. So teams are only required to submit 1 robot game video. I strongly recommend you submit as many as you can because that'll help you guys get the best score possible. If a team chooses to only submit 1 video in the 4th robot game video submission, let's say, and they haven't submitted anything previously, what if they've misinterpreted a rule? Or what if they've misinterpreted what home or launch means? What if all of their launches start outside of the launch area? If they're doing these things, it can cause everything that they run to not count, right? So I strongly recommend you guys submit as many robot game submission videos as possible. And to make it even more cool, even if your team only has, let's say, 2 or 3 missions done, or 1 mission or half of a mission, submit a video. We still want to interact. We still want to, you know, see what you guys have been working on, see what you guys have been doing. Referees don't ref because it's an obligation. We do it because we enjoy robotics and we enjoy teams and we enjoy working with teams. And we like to see what they've been doing. And so a lot of the referees that we have this year have either coached teams or been on teams or been involved for a really long amount of time. And you could view them as mentors, right? They're going to be giving the team feedback on whether or not they were doing things right on the table, or congratulating them on doing something really awesome, maybe even recommended, you know, have you, you know, maybe read this mission again, see if you could earn more points in what you're doing already. So really view the feedback we're giving you guys as a very mentorship mixed with referee role. The more videos you submit, the better, just so we can catch things, just so you guys can work through things, and also just to give the referees experience. And, you know, we don't have like 5 tournaments to go to on different weekends. So, you know, our weekends are going to be spent reviewing submitted videos. So we need things to do anyways. So send us videos.
Just to clarify that, 1 video per time.
Yes, it is 1. Yeah, the FLL
Not-
tournament only allows you to submit 1 video per submission.
Right, so they're not allowed to submit
So you
5.
can't submit 7 in your robot game submission, right? It's just the 1 7-minute video
Although you can replace it.
up
So,
until the cutoff.
right. So I wanted to explain this because teams won't know this yet. So your video submission deadline is a deadline, but your window will open on the Sunday before. So your submission deadline is on a Wednesday. Your window for submitting your link to your referees will start on Sunday. So that means your link will, your portal to submit your link will become activated on a Sunday. And then you have until Wednesday to upload. So basically cut and paste the link you want the referees to look at. You have until Wednesday. That means if you put a link in on Sunday and then you realize that, oops, we, we had music playing and it got scrubbed, or you realize some other error, when you go back and look, you could go back into your portal and you could change to a different video link. The referees will start reviewing on Thursday, so the day after the link closes. So you have a period of time in which to submit your video. And then Dee, how's the feedback going to work? Are they going to give?
So so there's a couple different options for feedback from referees. Often the referees will have their score sheet that they're submitting with the team score, and then provide feedback to them. So clarifications on rules, things like that, congratulating them on a great job, things like that, mentioning specific things that they saw that they liked or could be improved upon for the next submission video. If teams misunderstand a fundamental concept of the replay season, we will be putting in comments, but also scheduling a call with the coach and or the team. Maybe not the referee that reviewed the team, but me or someone else. I'm not scary, guys. I promise.
You get a call from Dee.
Nothing bad. Just to kind of work through and make sure that the team understands what to fix for next time and how to improve. And just to make sure so that we can see in your face or hear in your voice or your team's voice that you guys understand what we're explaining, as opposed to just typing it out in words and assuming that you guys understand it. Any questions that come from feedback will flow through the tournament coordinators down into a head referee tier of support.
Also, I just want to mention, sometimes things happen outside of our control, and we want you guys to reach out if you're experiencing some sort of difficulty and say you need another day to get your video link up. Something happens, maybe a computer crashes, maybe, whatever happens, some things happen. So the idea here is that if you need another day for your video link submission, let your tournament coordinator know, and they can help you with that. Even though your link will be dead after the deadline, which we're told is at midnight. Please don't make submitting right at midnight your practice. I mean, you can, you do you, but the idea being that, sometimes things go awry and we don't want to penalize teams. We don't want teams to miss out on an opportunity to grow and learn and improve. We really are expecting to see a big difference in team score between, hopefully, ideally, we'll see a significant difference between initial team score, first robot game round, and final robot game round submissions. That's our hope.
That's not in a scary way. It's just simply the fact that even for that January tournament set, those 3 tournaments that are happening on the last weekend in January, you have 5 weeks in between your first robot game submission to your final robot game submission. And so the team can keep working. Things can change. The team can add more stuff, change how they're doing missions. They can do whatever they want.
They could have a whole new robot.
They could. Don't. I'm gonna, as a coach, at some point in my life, I'm gonna recommend against rebuilding your robot with 5 weeks to go, unless there's a huge disastrous error. Just gonna throw it out there.
Somebody,
Really important question. What color is Dee's polish on her
Oh,
nails?
it's coincidentally, I think it's like the same exact color as my pants, which is like a burgundy wine color. Yeah. This is recorded everywhere.
It's part of the robot, isn't it? Isn't it part of the robot
Glenn
definition?
asked that.
Who did? Glenn. Yeah, but guys, there's no boot. I can walk. It's great. I'm glad I'm not going to tournaments this year and standing on my feet for 9 hours because I don't think I could drive home or do that. But
He smashed her foot last
I
year.
smashed my foot. If you guys didn't see me at state, I smashed my foot. It's still a weird shape.
Any other questions, you guys? So again, we will get the video and recording parameters out to teams this week before Wednesday's call. And of course, the Wednesday call will be
Mr. K wants to show off one of my pets.
ask
I
any.
hired.
Is it there?
Yeah, it's there.
What's their name?
So that one's called Henry. He's an axolotl. And then there's guppies and fish and stuff. Yeah. They just chill in the corner.
Do you have any other questions? No questions. Thank you from Jeremy. Boy, we answered all the questions. Dee, you answered all the questions.
Until after the first video.
I know, until after the first video submission. So I was thinking we could have like a call-in maybe on like the Monday following the submission videos, like the referee feedback, just so teams could call in and ask questions if they wanted to or whatnot. I thought that might be a good option if people think that they would want that.
Maybe on the weekend of December 12th.
Well,
The first
no, so not weekends because I'm going to be working with referees those weekends with submission feedback. So teams are getting feedback by end of day Sunday, except for January teams, and they're getting it by Friday, hopefully, end of day Friday. And
Maybe
so
dedicate the December 16th coach call to Team Robot Game Question.
we could. The only problem is that if you dedicate that call to it, the January events have already had 3 robot game submissions.
Right. So maybe because Wednesday we can't do.
I don't mind doing like an hour long, I'm gonna call it like office hours on the Mondays following, like the Mondays of those weeks. That's only 8 weeks. And in January I can double up weeks into one Q&A session. It's not a big deal to me. People just might be aware that I might be doing other things.
So a Monday at 7 or 8.
Yeah. Probably 8.
So Mondays at 8 with D.
Yeah. Mondays at 8 with D.
Only
And then referee wise, I was planning on doing the same thing on like probably Saturday nights or something like that.
with your referees though.
Yes,
Right?
with referees. Hey, if any coaches on the phone want to be judges or referees, we're still looking for help. And you're going to do it from the comforts of your own home.
Oh, someone's asking, Glenn is asking if you could explain the difference between in and on.
Does it even matter this year?
Oh, when you drop stuff over, or you drop stuff off on the table.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it does. Because I guess like slide figures on. Well, I'm trying to think. I think they don't even use the word on anymore.
Yeah, the bocce mission uses in. You can't have equipment in.
Oh, so like cell phone uses on. I'm trying to think because I mean they They
Tire-
made it.
Tires are on.
Tires are on. Okay. Cubes are in
What about the mission that you do?
MO1.
In-
Neither.
Yeah.
MO1 is specifically says has any part of it touching either the replay logo or the gray area surrounding the bench. So it's not even in or on. I mean, okay. So yeah, difference between in and on. What is slide figure? Just so I can get a good slide figures. See, that's weird too. Because the slide figure bullet point 4 on M03, if the slide figure is held completely off the mat by the heavy tire and is touching nothing else. It's like they've done something funky with like the ideas of completely on or like completely off, resting on the mat, stuff like that. Okay, so cell phone. So cell phone is resting only on the mat, right? So on resting only, see the resting only on the mat is what really like added, like removed some of the haziness on these things, because you can't be resting on something else. It's on the mat. This is hard to see. Can you put one key over here? And it's removed that kind of like odd technicality of where you can transfer weight support of the cell phone is resting on these are resting on the mat. So is the cell phone resting on the mat? But now it says resting only on the mat, which has kind of like invalidated our previous years of being able to say this is on the mat or on something. Too late. Right, so now this isn't resting only on the mat. Whereas, you know, our M01 innovation has to be, what does it say, touching touching either the replay logo or the gray area surrounding the bench, right? So we are now touching the gray area. We are not only touching the gray area, but we are touching the gray area. We are not touching the gray area. Even though we are in the gray area, we are not touching the gray area, right? So this wouldn't count. As soon as you do this, you are touching the gray area. I'm ruining tire. So we wouldn't get the points for crossing the tire line or whatever it is, the red line for the tire being flipped, right? But the slide figure part of tire completely held off the mat by the heavy tire and is touching nothing else.
Okay, D. Put something under the tire now. Now what?
Well, so the slide figure still counts. The slide figure scores independent of the tire. Because the slide figures, I get what you're saying. So if the slide figure is held completely off the mat by the heavy tire and is touching nothing else. So I would say in this point, the slide figure is held completely off the mat by the heavy tire. The heavy tire is not resting only on the mat, okay? But that doesn't affect this scoring. And the slide figure is touching nothing else. So this, in this case, the slide figure would score, right? If it was like this, the slide figure would not score because the slide figure is touching something besides the heavy tire. Does that track?
Yep.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah, I was looking for clarification on MO3 last bullet.
Yeah. So, and it doesn't matter that the heavy tire can't actually even score in this position, right? Because, well, it's not that the heavy tire can't score. It's just that scoring the heavy tire counts independently from M03. So we've taken the heavy tire into a non-valid scoring condition, right? Because we've crossed the red line. And so even if we took this back to our scoring target area or whatever, it still hasn't met the mission requirement of never having crossed this red line. Right, so the slide figure would get its bonus for being on the heavy tire, so 20 points, and touching nothing else. But the heavy tire itself would not score any points for being white center up or completely in the target circle.